Basically, Masifunde is an NGO that is based in Woma Township. Our main goal is to alleviate poverty through education programs.
So we're working at the moment with 200 youngsters, with learners from Woma Township, and we try to educate them to become active players, role models, change makers in their communities.
There's really a lot of challenges in Woma Township. One of them is poverty, obviously. Unemployment, drug and alcohol abuse. There's a lot of challenges that young people in Woma Township are facing.
To harness young people's potential to make communities in Nelson Mandela Bay safer, GIZ supports Masifunde in the Youth for Safer Communities project. The project aims at empowering young people to become active change makers in their communities. In the course of the project, youth workers from Masifunde worked with a group of grade 10 learners, the peer educators. Together, they conducted research and developed workshops on the topic of violence and crime prevention, with a specific focus on the role of young people. These peer educators then developed their own interventions. They presented their findings in a magazine and composed a song to activate other young people. Furthermore, the peer educators developed a workshop on violence and crime prevention that they conducted in schools all around Nelson Mandela Bay Metro. The workshops, which were entirely conceptualized and organized by the peer educators, have so far been carried out in 25 schools. Altogether, they reached up to 2,000 pupils.
The idea of those workshops is to again activate their peers. So our learners from Woma Township try to activate and empower youth from other townships and let them think about the role that youth can play in the creation of safer spaces. So you're not just anybody, you're really, I would say, the best that the Bay has to offer. So we're really, really excited to work with you for 3 days and to make a huge impact in the Mandela Bay over the coming 3 days. So the reason why we're here today is a youth conference where representatives from all those schools where our learners implemented the workshops got together to develop project ideas together, where they really got together and said, let us focus on 3 projects that we want to implement next year in all those schools. Again.
This event I enjoyed the most because it involves the youth and tells us more, shows us that we as the youth, we have the responsibility in our hands to change crime in our communities.
That it's very important to take part in things that are happening and also just take responsibility for your actions. Don't just blame it on the government or blame it on this or blame it on this. Also, youth is important because we're the people that are going to grow up and be the labor force later on. Our parents are going to retire and they're going to be at home, and we're going to people have to live in the environment that we create now.
I said to myself as I was sitting there that I am sitting with future leaders because these people know what they're here for, know what they're doing. With being here now, I'm getting motivated and being inspired of that I could possibly make change. That is to give those who are not giving academically.
We can't leave them where they're at right now. We've kind of come up with a little small mountain of success, but to turn this into something that's really going to make meaning for the city on a city-wide level, it needs to be multiplied. So my hope is to involve the private sector, get them to pledge funding through corporate social investment funding, if we can solicit some of this, and then to match the projects that came up at the youth conference over the last 3 days, match winning projects to corporate social investment money and get this implemented.
It was tight, but it was clear. 3 projects won, and I'm going to show you which these projects are.
Eventually they came up with 3 different events. The first one is about peer-to-peer counseling, unpacking the personal issues that young people are facing. The second one is about discussing about the current issues that young people face and coming up with solutions. That's the debating club. And then the third one, using now young people's love for arts and drama to teach young people about the consequences of crime. So
the youth wants to do something. The youth, they're fed up with nothing changing in their communities, and they see that there's a need for change, and we try to give them an opportunity to say we can start at least on a small scale to make a difference, and we can do that together.
It's about empowering the youth to be able to recognize what their contribution is and what they can do to make a difference, rather than waiting for someone else to come in to be a savior or solve all the problems on their own without their contribution.
This project not only has an impact on the youth in the Nelson Mandela Bay area, but it also helps to turn the young facilitators into role models for the future and enhances their skills. It helps building resilience in young people, which is key in preventing violent and risky behavior.